Hey guys, thanks for tuning into AmysCrypt. I am currently at the Carta Monastery in southern Transylvania, Romania. If that sounds familiar to you, you might recognize it as the location from the nun teaser at the end of Annabelle creation. Let's check out that clip. So in anticipation of the release of the Nun movie, which I'm very excited about, I wanted to make a quick video that explores the truth behind the Nun, the Valak Demon, and whether the Carta Monastery, where the new movie is said to be set, actually exists. So before I take you on a little tour of the Carta Monastery and talk about its own ghost stories, I wanted to discuss a little bit about the demon Valak. So Valak the Demon Nun has slowly been introduced to us in previous Conjuring movies, and it has become a real part of the Conjuring timeline and is finally getting its own movie. But where does the Valak Demon come from? Who is Valak? Does Valak have a true story? Now we know Valak as a demonic nun from the Conjuring movies, and there is a little bit of truth behind that particular haunting. It is said that Lorraine Warren was actually haunted by an entity which she described as a hooded black figure within a swirling black mist. So though there was an actual entity haunting Lorraine Warren, it wasn't a nun. The nun sort of came about after the director of The Conjuring 2 visualized it after hearing her describe the entity that was really haunting her. Now in real life mythology, the demon Valak is actually described in some 17th century grimoires, which are basically books about magic, demons, and even how to conjure demons. Valak in mythology is described as a small male child with angel wings who rides upon a two-headed dragon. So in contrast to the scary nun that we see in the Conjuring films, they're quite different. And this is also a very powerful demon that we are talking about. He's described as being not only a president of hell, but governing over many legions of spirits. So now we have established who Valak actually is, I want to switch over and talk a little bit about the upcoming The Nun movie. So I'm currently out front of the Carta Monastery in Romania, which shares the same name as the monastery in the Nun movie. Now the premise of the movie is that monastery is being haunted by a demonic nun, and another priest and nun are sent there to investigate. And as much as I would love to tell you that this monastery actually has a true story of a demonic nun, it doesn't. But it does have some rather cool ghost stories of its own. So I'm going to take you in, I'll take you for a look around and a tour, give you some of its history, and I'll go over some of those very creepy ghost stories. So the Carta Monastery, which I'm just walking into now, was actually founded at the very beginning of the 1200s, and the stone structure that I'm inside now, that's left largely in ruins, was built very shortly after that. Now this place is thought to be one of the most haunted places in Romania. It has a lot of ghost stories, particularly those related to the monks who used to live here, many of which are buried in this very courtyard. The only remaining structure of the building that is still used today is a church that I'm about to take you inside. So now I want to talk a little bit about the haunting and ghost stories of the Carta Monastery. A lot of these stem from the monks who used to live here, which were a special type known as white monks, and that was because they predominantly wore white. Now they had quite a harsh and brutal lifestyle where their life expectancy wasn't really much longer than 40 years of age. They didn't have a lot of food, they worked very hard during the day, and a lot of them died here. Now this is where a lot of the supposed hauntings come from. People think that there are a lot of monks still in the vicinity. People have claimed to see ghostly white monk figures walking around the monastery late at night. Now, other burials of interest include some unmarked graves that were actually uncovered during recent excavations. 2 skeletons of men who were extremely large for the time were uncovered. Now, it was found that these skeletons were over 6.5 feet tall, which was actually quite strange and odd in those days when everyone was a lot smaller and shorter. And it's said that people were ostracized for being very different during that time and were usually shipped off to monasteries to get them out of the public eye. Now, many people believe that these men are responsible for poltergeist activity and strange paranormal occurrences that happen in the cellar that their bodies were uncovered. So it's said that the walls vibrate inside the cellar and poltergeist activity occurs frequently with objects being thrown around the room. Now, other poltergeist activity has been reported all throughout the monastery, and there's even been reports of chairs moving across the room inside of the church. So there's some pretty cool ghost stories here, but unfortunately, nothing that relates to a demonic nun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video or found it interesting. If you did, please remember to like, leave me a comment. I'd particularly love to know if you're excited for the Nun movie, or maybe you've seen it by now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And although this monastery wasn't actually used in the filming of the Nun, I will be visiting a lot of Romania's most haunted places and posting about them on my channel all throughout October, and a lot of them include some of the filming locations for the Nun. So if you'd be interested in that, please make sure to subscribe. If you're looking for a bit more reading on this monastery and its history, head to AmysCrypt.com. I'll post a blog about it there. And remember, until next time, stay spooky.